This is a work of fiction. You know, it's strange to think about this was the same exact screen as in Birth Miko as well, but subtly different. This is a work about fiction. The character's name is Emily Fiction. My god. Oh boy. So there's already fourth wall breaking in even its entirety of the game, so how's Project Deforge gonna go into, huh? Oh boy. Hello everyone, my name is Mitz, and here we're back with HASC Code, and we're mostly this is gonna be just a discussional episode, going through Lexicon and maybe just theorizing and just throwing random ideas out there for Project Deforge, and maybe some small bits of this game which maybe doesn't entirely make sense, or there's some mysteries that we haven't really figured out. I know there's a few things which I'm not too understanding of, or it's purposely mysterious that way. I'm gonna assume it's the purposely mysterious kind of ladder. Before we go with the Lexicon, another thing to think about right now is that the fact that in comparison to HASC Code here and Birth Me Code, both games, even though they have the whole, what is the word for it, multiple endings as Zero Escape is, instead of Zero Escape doing the many worlds interpretation, these are all actual chronological events, in both games. Birth Me Code being several universal resets happening one after another, and us, or technically E2A8 Emily Fiction, in the school, carrying information from one trip over, continuously further on, and this game supposedly taking place in Universe Reset 288, which honestly makes sense depending on how the ending of Birth Me Code goes. This entire game takes place in one universe, legitimately, and all the endings are labeled from A to S as well. I even have a little small checklist to go over to see what is it, because I'm pretty sure me and also basically everyone else who's played this game completely out of order from chronological. So going down the list, the endings go as follows from A, which is technically the ending where Simon and the rest, who are human at this point, going through the dating game for the first time, and this is at first being held by the MDS, their whole motivation here is actually still left ambiguous here. It's not completely clear as to what it is. We only got the clear picture of what the game is about from Emily. Well, at least in the sense why she decided to keep going and keep doing the game all over and over. Something to think about. I remember, when I was going through the very last thing, I was too overwhelmed with how much information was going, and literally, as the title for that episode was, I was actually still 100% convinced this was MTS, everything about it, which was true, the first ending-wise, anyway. Ending-wise, yes, every other one ending was orchestrated by Emily. Oh boy, that's a nice thing, and for some reason, I just was in denial. It's weird to think about, didn't even kick to me, how horribly, how much horrible stuff happened when Emily was doing all this. Even when someone brought up the whole fact about, Jasmine and Greta going off together to escape the place, and we never saw them when you're on the surface talking to, what was it, Simon and Emily 17? I have no idea why they didn't connect. And honestly, I'm actually kind of a bit glad I chose the Forgiver option, mostly just because it follows really nicely with what Simon wants to do. No, screw you, God, this is my choice, and I say I'm not gonna fucking forgive her. And I'm still glad that's the stance the game took. Or Simon, anyway. And going down the list again, this is exactly where everyone is human by this point, except for Emily here. And actually thinking about it, that note makes so much more sense here in this ending, but in every other ending makes absolutely no sense because she's repeating the same game over and over again. The note was that someone among you is different than the rest. Obviously Emily. Oh wait, well there was also Robot Hannah. That's actually still a mystery left up for grabs. Definitely seems most likely that it's Emily, though. That's my confirmation bias. Going down the list, the next one going down would be literally the choice where Simon stores away the gun inside the safe and then immediately talks to A to talk him down. Yet, like, he's a smart Simon and pushes E to her death onto electrified railroad tracks, and Simon does the most badass thing ever. Like, honestly, I love it. It's amazing that he picks her up and just carries her into the room just to kill all three of them. It's still badass. Still like how this whole ending bit is also called Bastard! Yeah, that's great. Fucking pizza delivery, hot, ready, and served. Here we go. Sizzle. Yeah. So all these different endings are for Emily, like, trying to get the very, like, all the way down to ending A, to redo that, but to have someone live again. That and to forgive her. Which, yeah, no. And the timeline here jumps all over the place here, too. The original timeline going all the way from here, like the actual really beginning start, from here all the way up here, to the right, down, then all the way up here. Then the second ending, which she, like Emily tried to do the whole same thing again, but tried to have someone do something different here, going down. That's where her old self technically died. And then here is where things go at the deep end, because she needs to, like, make more sense in what to do to get the ending again and mess around with people's personalities. So ending C is the red skull right here. Ending C, gun. This is the ending where Marco and Simon go together to the church, reliving the whole thing about, I've been here before, okay, I know exactly what to do in this escape room, let's do that. And literally the whole thing with I think, like, Ray, like, shooting Jasmine. Simon takes that gun, hands one to Marco, and hides the gun inside the library and underneath the trash bin. And it's been undiscovered for over hundreds of years, which is, oh wow. And since, as Emily put it, that between every single ending is like a time where she has to remake the robots again and again. So 12 years, and that's what it is. It's 12 years. Down to the next ending. Well, actually, hold on a second. This came to me just now. That Marco and Simon died after Marco entered the staircase to the escape room to the library. For what reason? There's quite a few people already dead. Well, I can't remember exactly who died that thing. Like, obviously, Jasmine in here is dead. They've witnessed Jasmine struggling to fight with Ray, which inevitably ends with her death. Oh yeah, and this is the choice where we can go with either A or E, and we decide to go with Marco, and A and E go to the theater, and we know how that turns out. We can only imagine that A would kill E, so yeah. We decided to go that way, and you can't go back on the train anymore, so what was it? Who was there in that room? It had to be one of the twins, right? But then, why? What were they doing? It's the library, hiding or whatever. That's weird. Whoever's in the library, that's like actually still a mystery. Going down the rest of the list here is the next up is the other choice where someone decides to go with E, which I find this ending pretty hilarious because chronologically, this is the ending where Simon immediately just abandons E and just goes into the world, just like wandering through the desolate world of the metro, above the metro and Montreal, losing his goddamn mind. Oh boy. Also cat. So, I like to tell this chronologically that he just E, too bad, bye. Best part is that yeah, we're a long ways off to see, them actually talking to each other forever. Next on the list is all the way down here with Robot Hannah, ending E, the meltdown. This is where basically we like some confronts his own death to have robot Hannah continue to live and, you know, be with Greta again, which good on him, Simon. That even though that kid was technically a robot as well, and he didn't know at the time, and he was not robophobic at all. Truly sensitive lad. Best 2.0. And the other ending was down here, ending F, which is the opposite, where like Hannah just kills herself and is basically completely, utterly revealed that she's a robot, even though like she already proved it herself, like bending a spoon like flawlessly before the whole escape section happened. Then seeing the many vats of many different people as robots with Smiley helmet heads on. Yeah. Then next up is this, ending G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And this goes down to, yeah, literally this takes place the ending after Simon, like, sees the train. Well, not the train, the different robots in the vats. Someone takes the last station where he meets a twin wearing somebody's helmet, leading to his termination train. These and some relationship G has not come out of the train. He meets with E, who has said someone will destroy everything. Actually, think about it now. When was the last time, like, Agnos, A, ever, like, used bombs to detonate his place ever again? When was the last time he did that? That was the only time he ever did that, was in the ending A, and that was it. And as I think Emily put it, the original callers, like, mess with people's memories, to also to the point of him, eroding their own sanity, which I guess this explains why he just suddenly snapped, despite being, I guess, a more logical person he was. So, what was it? Even the robot twin, Hannah or Gretel, doesn't even really matter because it's still technically the same, is that, that Smiley robot basically said that she wanted to stop, like, you know, people from destroying the facility, which, thinking about it now, makes sense, because I'm wondering how long it took just to clean up and repair everything in this whole facility after the bombs went off, just to make sure it all functional again, just so Emily could do her old little "forgive me, Simon" thing. Oh boy. Gosh. So the game, so at the same time Emily wants to revisit the whole ending A, at the same time not destroy the facility, which that's doomed to fail no matter how you think of it. But I think she's trying to find the next best thing. It's honestly amazing. So that was ending G. Next up is ending H, which is the pink skull, the top one, which is ending H, manual shutdown. That's another thing, as Emily really wants to get a specific ending. I'm assuming after a specific amount of time, if she doesn't get the ending that she wants, she's gonna immediately shut everything down and retry all over again. How does something go? Having made up his mind, Simon pulls E out of danger and fights Jasmine off until the two of them are able to leave the lounge. Taking the train, they put as much distance as they could between themselves and Jasmine. The theater, Simon quickly realizes this is unhelpful. The way in is completely shut. After a long wait for help that never comes, he stands up and makes his move, only for everything to mysteriously end. This is the whole point where she's at the theater. Well, he's at the theater with E. And literally, since the train is not coming back, he was planning to jump over the train tracks to, and since the theater is the very top of the facility, and the other door obviously would lead up to the surface. No wonder Emily wants to shut him down immediately after that. No wonder. No fucking wonder. It's also very ironic to see that it was only ending A where she and Sim got so close, and yeah. Going down the list, purple, pink skull top, that was ending A, H, then the next one would be here, I think? I, electrocution, what was that again? Simon tackles Jasmine in an effort to knock her out. This is the whole thing where Jasmine was still like killing everyone, and Jasmine killed Hannah, robot Hannah, because Jasmine is actually the real Hannah, and I guess she went insane with the whole just still having conflictions with her own memory and her memories as Jasmine with Simon and Marco the entirety of her quote-unquote life. With her unconscious, he takes her away in the train, right to the infirmary in order to treat her. Once there, he finds out that Jasmine's hair is nothing but a wig, and underneath is a massive blonde hair. Yeah, that points to that. Guess the MTS couldn't mess with her hair too much. Well, they definitely did mess with her eyes to make them different than the rest, like the twins. Oh boy. And underneath the mess of blonde hair. Down the stairs, he meets up with G, shoves it onto the tracks where he meets his inevitable end, which he plans to do for his sister. Yeah, G, like, doesn't know about the whole thing with her, like, Jasmine being the real Hannah, but yeah, it makes sense why she wouldn't think that at all. But, this is probably just a small thing. It's probably just for the sake of the summary here, but I don't remember too much of the details of things, so I'm just going up assumptions here about this ending. That I'm, technically, like, wouldn't it be easier to mask someone's, you know, hair style, like, all this way? So, like, technically, you just have to dye the hair. Why did they have to put a wig on her? Or at least, in this case, Emily do. Like, you know, do that. Unless she, like, didn't have dye in hand, but had lots of hair, fake hair on hand. Dyeing the hair is definitely easier than having just wear a wig. And I guess, at some point, it would make sure that I'm, there won't be an accident of, like, somehow the hair falls off in some capacity. Like, like, Jasmine messes with her own hair too much, which I don't think she ever has in the game. That's not even a sprite of hers messing with her hair. So, I think MDS has the technology to even, like, mess with, you know, someone's eye color and how their eyes work and everything else, making someone a young and short, you know, person to a fully grown adult. Why not do hair? It's simple as dyeing it. Oh, God. Ugh. And what's ending I? Then ending J is here, going down the whole path with going with Jasmine to the escape room in the pool. And this is where Simon does not, like, can't bring us to talk about what happened to the chair, so he decides to divert attention to the key, which in this case leads to again, I think, like, quote-unquote Jasmine just, like, in her confliction with her memories of, like, being Hannah and Jasmine, like, kills Simon and goes to try it, like, get her sister, her real sister, back with a knife. And the game, like, keeps going back and forth on who has a knife and who doesn't. Well, I guess that's the true Schrodinger's cat here. So either Jasmine has it, Marco has it, A has it, literally only those three. And the gun side, it's either A has it, Ray has it. Like, literally, I think we already knew his name from the very beginning, which, at the same time, Ray just, like, you really think that's my name? Well, you do respond to it more often. Well, for your information, I don't, why would I give my name to people willy-nilly? If you want to know, it's short for Raymond, if that's what you want to know. It's trustworthy at the same time untrustworthy. He's great, I love him. Yeah, that was that treason. And then going down that list, that was ending J, right? Okay. Ending K is a yellow skull down here. Ending K, stars. Yeah, this is where Simon, I think after seeing the security footage, decides to go and look around, like, in the different rooms, and Ray tags along, not understanding why, you know, Simon wants to look around. But Simon decides to split up from Ray and looks through the stars escape room, which that's a whole thing in itself. But let me just go down this summary yet. Basically, A and E come by. Simon goes down and talks to him, and then Agnos just shoots him after Simon tells his suspicions about Ray with the security footage. Yeah, and that's the whole summary for that. But the one thing that's also been in my mind about this escape room as well, the fact that this is a literal port of the escape room from Birth Me Code. Since Birth Me Code's game, story-wise, takes place obviously before this game, that means the MTS saw that escape room, like they saw, like, the whole facility that Italian and Marco made, and made it here. For what purpose? My first initial thoughts were basically, I guess a quote-unquote demonstration of power, and it gets an insult to E and Marco, and I guess the twins. It's also a whole way from maybe it's, like, my theory about why MTS is doing this whole game was a test of, like, literally all the things they've been doing to people. Like, what was it? Also, wait, tying up loose ends as well. So, yeah. Like, Simon was brought here just primarily because, E, like, loved him and was acquainted, quote-unquote, acquainted, so I never even heard of her at university at all. And E was technically from Etine, and since Emily was going to field nomadics and was very bright, the MTS took her in and did horrible stuff to her. That part is left vague to the imagination, and was forced to make this entire dating game thing and make sure that's all goes down. Agnos was here as I guess to get rid of loose ends, but like kill him off for the MTS to make sure. I think actually goes along with them as well with the different caller numbers, as you know, you need 2 people to add up to the number 9 and go through, which is weird to think that it's not gonna happen that Agnos is gonna go with the robot Hannah, like, you know, in this timeline, if I'm remembering the number sequencing right. So things are gonna go bad for him no matter what, whether he dies by his own hand or, like, you know, like testing out. It was always meant for him to die. So, definitely the reason why he was definitely a lot more cautious and careful, and very deadly. And Ray, what was it? Emily put it as he had a brain condition. He was taking drinking that medicine to make sure he stayed alive, and he actually got a brain scan from the MTS, which that part of itself is very interesting to see. Like, scanning personality, maybe, or something like that. Some other pseudoscience stuff, I don't know. Maybe messing with that. Like, maybe it was like I guess a sequence break of a scan up of robots and that. Maybe it was like another way for them to analyze brain activity or something like that. This has something to do with Ray, but the details about him are unclear. Marco, I think, is another way to tie up loose ends. Like, you know, because since he was a quote-unquote threat, Etine is nowhere here to be seen, so she must be somewhere. The purpose, or she's dead, based on like what she said in Birth Me Code. Like, I hope to live to see Project Deforge come to fruition. The twins obviously came from Birth Me Code, and the weirdest thing about that is, I don't think my question about since Birth Me Code takes place 7 years before HASC Code here, that means that, like, the twins somehow did not age the entire time. So were they put in stasis for whatever reason or another? Like, either doesn't make much sense either way. From the MTS like premeditated its entire dating game thing, and when the twins involved for whatever reason, that probably gets evident by the Stars escape room thing taken from Birth Me Code. The MTS probably themselves put the twins in stasis, like, you know, at least Greta, and mess with like, you know, the real hand to make Jasmine, or literally it was Etine and Marco who wanted them to be safe and like put them in stasis for whatever reason. It's up in the air as well. Slime's an ordinary dude because of his connection, well, at least E's connection to him, and also why the MTS like decided to go with messing Hannah to look like Jasmine memory-wise and all that. Marco was the same way, also acquainted with Simon. Also interesting to think about that Birth Me Code is all about a high school, and this game was all like had the vague connection of a university. Except with the outlier of A and the twins. Those are the 3 outliers of you know, the cast here. Don't know like who would technically be the fake here in this case. I should think about it even now. A fake with pigtails from the Birth Me Code. I don't think I actually fully explored whatever that means. I think I just glossed over that. At this point, I haven't really went through the entirety of HASC Code and Birth Me Code all over again since completing these 2 games from the start. I can definitely imagine how that would be. I'm mostly going on ramble here. That was ending K. Going down to ending L, which is the purple skull here, the bottom. K, L. That is... Decide to continue on without meeting the others. G and Simon stay in the train. When it stops at the lounge, A quickly enters the train only to leave 1 station later. He was running down from the station stairs at full sprint and just crashed headlong inside the subway train. And both G and Simon didn't know what to think of him. And this is where they decided to go to the theater after literally every other escape room was, closed after everything. So, in the end, the train reaches the furthest point possible, the theater station. G, sensing a threat, sends Simon alone up the stairs. He makes a terrible discovery he wants to share about the fact that the theater has, the stations, there's no other way to get to the other side of the station tracks from the stairways above. And he goes back and sees that G was stabbed to death by Marco. Simon doesn't realize it was Marco. He was stabbed from behind and immediately died without knowing who killed him. Deceased. Then going down from that, that's purple skull bottom, that's ending L. Going to ending M, that's this. Ending M is rushing. He was beheaded by the collar. Ray and Simon decided to explore the pantry first. This is the whole thing with him, Simon's weird plan to trick Ray to verify his suspicion meter. In order to avoid having Ray blow up any dangerous finding, Simon acts very cautiously, trapping Ray with a procedure that would otherwise be needed. His effort pays off. Simon finds a case that contained 2 guns, immediately making A and E suspicious. Since they explore this room, he parts and Ray heads to the start station to be ahead in his rush, because A and E went to the station first, and Simon didn't figure to ask if other people were in the room. So, I wonder why A was looking around in there as well. Maybe he realized, remember the whole thing about the twins from, the whole game and the Kill Me game from Birth Me Code. If he was part of the MTS, he probably would have heard parts about it. Yeah. That was ending M. Then the ending N, which is here before the padlock. This is where a gunshot. Deciding against sharing the paper with Jasmine about the whole, someone here is not like the others, someone's different, one of these doesn't belong, Simon ends up having to accompany A and Jasmine to the laboratory. The old man explains that the large, solid door in the laboratory may be important in some way, but he's unable to open it. Despite Jasmine waiting for them down below, he shoots Simon to revealing to him that he's not in control of his actions, leading to Simon's termination. Yeah. This is the ending where both A talks to Simon about, do you feel like there's something controlling your actions? Which at the time definitely seems it fits in with the whole ending with Birth Me Code of him, God or us as a player going through the games, really messing with Simon's actions, making the choices for him. But in Agnos's case, there's something more going on play with there, which obviously now is Emily messing with him, Agnes's personality and actions just to make sure she gets the ending she wants. Yeah. Ending N, then ending O. Now we're finally all the way back to the theater again with E again, and Simon decides to stay there forever. Unable to sacrifice E for his own gain, Simon discards the key. This is the unfortunate outcome of locking him up for good in the theater with the girl. Unable to figure out another way to escape, he decides to keep E company and hopefully avoid turning insane. As a result, the two of them exponentially rely on each other to keep their sanity until they lose track of reality and meet their end. Actually, I also want to check another thing about this, about what Smiley said there in this section. Where was that? I definitely want to hear that again. Robots cheering. Oh yeah, a bunch, all these robots that are just a bunch of wires, which, keep that in mind, I'm gonna bring up later. By valuing the life of someone else over your own, you won. You managed to expose your selflessness, which is utterly commendable. But you did not win the dating game. Maybe this be unfair, but betrayal is part of life as well. It is not betrayal for me, however. You have betrayed yourself. Still, perhaps in the corner of your mind, you believe this to be acceptable. Once again, it is utterly commendable, and yet the play is over. You may applaud, as you will now spend eternity with this cage, within this cage of your own making. I do hope you've given your due farewells to your friends beforehand. That was all it. Now that's another thing. Was the whole thing made? Did Emily make that recording, or I'm assuming MTS made that as well for anyone who went through this theater section? I guess that's up to the interpretation again. Masquerade. And that goes all the way. That was ending O. Then ending P. The whole route where Jasmine actually leads with her real blood sister. Doesn't decide to leave G, handing over her knife to Simon for his protection. Then gone, Hannah and Simon use the elevator and the key just left the former to explore further down. They find out the inexplicable door in the reactor station leads to a staircase linking with the theater at the top. They split up, and shortly, G turns up dead. Simon finds A's body and E dying against the wall before he's stabbed to death by Marco. Yeah. I'm assuming, like, Marco realizes, like, just like how we found out, like, near, like, the very last ending, the second to last, I think, ending, yeah, I believe so. Like, the second he realizes people are, like, you know, robots, he immediately snaps and tries killing everyone. Just, as I said before, about whether, like, you know, people are robot, this will all be over. Whether I'm real or not, it will all soon be over. Yeah. That was ending P. Ending Q. Down all the way here. Ending I, which is... Oh, yeah, it's the ending where, Simon, like, finds the gun, actually. He finds the gun underneath the trash can from how many years ago from ending C, from C to ending Q. Like, jeez. And he used that gun to have a standoff with Agnos, who had a gun and a knife in hand, to swap off with him, with Simon actually getting the gun with bullets. So the gun we got, at least the gun like we decided to keep in our hands, had no bullets in it the whole time. At all. So basically, in the pantry, there was a case with a gun that had a fully loaded bullet, like, you know, cylinder, and the other gun which had none. Huh. That would actually, yeah, that would probably raise stakes for, like, MTS standards. Still curious why I think TS wanted to do this personally, assuming Emily wanted to just try to remake everything by the books, just, you know, have her ending as she wanted. So, That was ending Q. Then A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R. Yeah, okay, yeah. And ending R is here, the one where basically Simon figures out that everyone is robots, and Marco kills right in front of Simon, and yeah, and Marco reveals to Simon how the extent of how everyone's memories are just fucked up. Yeah. Also, what is that word? Iconoclasm. Okay. Yeah, just running out of words in an old dictionary there. Yeah. And of course, the finale ending is all the way down here. One thing I'm curious about is the letters, like how Simon like comes to those. I wonder like exactly the specifics about those, like the criteria Emily had to, like, you know, get those letters into his own head. Wonder about that. Plus the fact that since this whole facility is literally up to down vertically, like every floor is literally like, the train station, then the escape room over top of it, then above that escape room is the next train station above, and so on and so forth. Explains the whole floor -28 and floor 0. And literally in the floor that we saw with E, and the very beginning ending A was actually them stopping at a train station floor, the escape room, like on the other side of the scanner gates. Also, another thing to think about. I think Emily like changed the rules of the dating game just so it could fit her ending needs. But was the dating game meant for design for literally anyone to go through, like any two people? Like literally, if you figured out the whole trick. It's also weird, like they kept the directive vague about how to get out. The very second someone realized that, like, you know, if you add your bracelet numbers together to make 9, literally the game was done then. But of course, you need to have like the escape rooms to do that, and of course it means splitting up. So that would definitely erase suspicion and all that if someone figured that out immediately. So yeah. Oh boy. Oh, that's all of that. And I know that, okay, so before we move to the Lexicon, just another small thing, and I think that can only explain this by using of the CG art here. Like, a few things, anyway. It's weird to think how I misinterpreted my own memory of this exact thing, of a glitch here, a bug. I'm gonna see if I can actually replicate it now. I don't think it was updated yet. I since told Moon about this glitch. Like, I managed to replicate it again. I think how I did it was literally going to a new save file, to like refresh myself and get do editing stuff is literally go into the game all over. And then we go into extras menu. No. Maybe it is patched up. Maybe it is. I wouldn't doubt it. Delete. Let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah. The whole glitch about every single CGI art, like at least only the first image, is all good here. Every single one. The first one, anyway. It's weird to think, like, it's probably because, like, it was all zoomed out, but for some reason, I just saw the tubes and immediately thought, oh, that's a brain in a vat jar. And for some reason, my brain construed a giant brain, a giant vat jar, like, you know, shrouded in completely orange lighting, which definitely contributed to, like, some of my, like, ideas and theories, although, I think that's another reason why I latched onto the idea that Marco had as well, a tiny bit, with whole census thing. I think I only found out about this whole glitch, like, I think literally after that episode, or like sometime after that. I know it was very early on through me going through this game, which, yeah. Well, what was it? The other reason I want to go through this CGI was, you can only see this whole thing. So Emily made all these robots all again from scratch to get her ending business shebang. And there was whole thing is the ending Rebirth Me code states that the beta models for the Ex Machinas, which were made to house God, like what was it? What was it? Like, the beta versions of Ex Machinas and Birth Me Code, as the Tyne and Marco helped make, were all just nothing but, like, these things. Just these robots all surrounding them in the theater. Like, just a whole assemblage of, like, you know, outputting wires and that. And the helmets themselves that everyone wore in that game were helped, like, using, like, literal post-CGI, so, the human wearer wouldn't, you know, recognize it. And we, as, you know, God wouldn't recognize it, and E wouldn't recognize it. E288. Also the same thing in the elevators, too, when Marco and, you know, Averita took off their helmets, which, technically speaking, that was supposed to be a Tyne. But because of, as the CGI was, since her hair is white, and Averita's hair is supposed to be, you know, I think brown or black, I can't remember the top of my head, the CGI of the helmets actually even, like, construed a fake face for her as well. It was that whole thing. Which is interesting to think about. Yeah. So that was my question about the whole thing about the Emilys and the Ex Machinas. So, like, Emily, like, knew from Birth Me Code, like, the ending of that she can make the robots again if she can, and she spent the entirety of almost 300 years to do that. And I get, even the cool thing about this is the game doesn't even, like, you know, the game implies that the reason she stayed alive for so long is because in between like endings and resets, she was in the vat the whole time, sustaining herself, but she was a robot all along, so she has a prolonged lifespan as well. That's actually a really cool detail. I should think about it now. Like, I actually really want to see, like, a Let's Player, or at least someone, like, go through this game first and go through Birth Me Code and see how their theories differ from mine, since I'm guessing most people played BMEC to HASC here. I really want to see how someone reacts to that. I really want to see if someone finds, like, you know, let's say who goes through this game first and then to BMC, or at least plans to. Oh god, I hope they actually continue on after this game. Like, I would love to see that. Oh, I would watch the shit out of that to see how they go and react through this. Oh, that'd be fun to go through. Definitely gotta go through HASC again, all the way up for BMC. Well, my whole point was, so the Emilys, as Emily put it, quote, literally, the Emilys are supposed to be, like, her version of those Ex Machinas, and literally, as we saw in ending R, with Marco killing Ray and killing Simon, they look absolutely like real people, and based on some of the endings and how some events played out, they're so advanced that these robots can mimic allergic reactions, see Marco's coconut allergy, outside of Ending A, that never happened in Ending A, that was a completely separate event timeline entirely, so Emily's could simulate allergic reactions to substances for the wearer, or for the guy, whoever it is, the caller consciousness, and literally make that allergic reaction up for them, and go to anaphylactic shock, like, Jesus, that realistic, and also account for Ray's drinking medicine as well. That is insane. And you know the best part is, this entire game takes place in one entire universe, and as some people who decide to go through this game and go to the ending of Birth Me Code will probably soon realize out that E was designed to carry information over from one timeline, one universe, to the next, after it resets all over again. Oh, another thing to think about. For people who go, like, the Birth Me Code to here, since as the time puts it, that the humanity goes and just completely wipes out at, like, reset 300, and since I misremembered the details about, like, what universal reset Emily was, she was E288, and this game has 19 endings, which, actually doing the math for that, we go way over that, which actually should have been the clue that this game had something else going on with it if someone went through Birth Me Code first. That's honestly a really cool detail. But because I misremember the number, I didn't even consider that. Wonder how that weird it is. All these different things. And no, I'm honestly telling the truth. I did not see any of these other ones except for this one, ironically enough. And even then, I didn't remember it right. I have no idea why. I perfectly remember vividly, like, an actual, like, detailed artwork of like an orange, like a brain to, like, put in a large vat, like, it's like blue and orange, like, tubes, and like I think, no, it was blue and purple veins or tubes coming in, like, you know, jammed into the brain, going up and down the tube. Oh boy. Oh, I would have loved to, like, you know, love to see, like, commission that, like, an artwork of that to see how that looks. Like, maybe, like, try to, like, see how that works. I should probably, I want to do that now. I really want to do that now. But I guess we'll go down to Lexicon. Probably not on this save file. Get rid of that. That patch should be done, but for the sake of, like, brevity, since I found it, I take all the credit. That's just for record's sake. Going down to back to this one. Not save files again, you dingus. And all the way to Lexicon. Before we go down into the new ones, I want to re-go through the old ones. Agnos character. Physical. This man is easily the eldest in the group. He is extremely physically frail, and he harbors no otherworldly capabilities. Yeah, everyone was a human except for E, and I guess Robot H at the time, so yeah. The way he dresses is very strange, as if he was some sort of old knight with shoulder pads. Always with him, his bag carries his necessities. In it, one could find pencils, paper, erasers, scissors, and so on. Psyche. This old man is never without some sort of smile. He's resistant to speak first, as he prefers gauging his approach based on a situation already in development. He calls himself a knight of justice, I'm a peacemaker, and he's a good mediator. Notes. Nobody knows the stuff he wears is made of real gold. Maybe he's rich, maybe he's not. You decide. Boy and girl paradox. Family 1 has 2 children, the older child is a girl. What's the probability that both children are girls? Family 2 has 2 children, at least one of them is a boy. What's the probability that both of them are boys? To fully understand its paradox, you have to imagine both cases of the table. The first column will be older child, but younger child as a second. The first question only has 2 possible cases, girl and boy, making it 1/2. In the second, all these are possible, girl and boy and girl, and boy, due to the wording leaving ambiguous which one is a boy. Some may argue that girl and boy and girl are the same, which is the core of the paradox. I guess this goes down to the whole fact of, I think this adds up to the whole idea of, like, cause and effect of perception of reality or existence. Braille pens. Instead of 26 pens used to print braille upon a uniform surface, like an actual stamp. Like, you can't do it on someone's skin. That was my fault. Well, honestly, that's, like, I think, like, you know, it'd just be a bunch of little tiny bumps a pen has, like a small stamp on the end of it. You never actually see the pens in action, like, you know, how they look, so, yeah. The writings are transparent as the pens only slip within matter within the air in order to create the configuration for each letter. According to the old man, these pens also have punctuation versions, but he doesn't have them with him. In truth, these pens are highly advanced technology. Extremely tiny mechanical arms work tirelessly within the pens to modify the ambient air on a molecular level until they find a configuration that allows for solid matter. If you don't like that explanation, feel free to imagine little fairies who live in the pens making them all work. Oh, I love this kind of stuff. It's so cool to even see, like, someone even making designs for, like, a fake invention, which actually sounds like can really happen. I remember when I went through the beginning of V3 and just talking to Mew. She was talking. She invented. It was one invention that made her the ultimate. There was eyedropper contact lenses, which honestly sounds like a pretty unique invention to think about. Which I can actually by that point I can physically believe that she was an ultimate, except from all those other times, the other games where people were that. I think literally that moment when I go through the game just made me just think everything was real. Then by the end, yeah, I love it. Cloud technology, the whole thing I thought about before about which I guess in truth technically. Actually, maybe I was right. Cloud technology, reality. I'll go to that later. The cloud technology, or cloud computing, is named that way after a metaphor illustrating how the information accessed by a third party is kept in another location entirely, making it available by any third party so long as they have access rights. The data may not exist on the third-party device, computer, phone, laptop, etc., but so long as the cloud is maintained, it is still accessible. Think of it as some sort of remote installation containing all sorts of information or data. Some people believe that this is also how the mind, or the soul, operates, as if the body was only a terminal for senses. Yeah, I wonder where we heard that thing before. Probably not this game. Has nothing to do with spiky-haired guys wielding big swords. Yeah, cloud. So, like, think about it now, like, obviously, even then, like, Emily's own research actually being put into the ropes themselves, so, like, they're not even really themselves anymore, really. Like, the original personalities. You know, some characters brought up about the whole fact of, definitely know for a fact, as Emily herself even referenced it, including about like the infinite monkey theorem. But I'm endlessly typing on a typewriter and just, you know, trying to make it a very improbable function, that sort of thing. So literally, she was putting her own ideas into the robots themselves, which, oh boy. It's interesting that this game is like different layers of different ways and different things. So there's God doing the whole like forcing, like, you know, us just watching through. It's like, we want to get to the end of this game. It's for entertainment purposes. You know, I want to get to the different endings. What's the true ending? Like, we're forcing the characters to go through all the suffering and pain, like just the proxy of us witnessing it. If we're going by the pseudoscience of perception of existence, the whole reverse cause and effect, and literally of Emily like forcing this, like, in universe wise, to literally do this all again and forcing the at least the robot version of these characters, the conscious and mind, debatable whether, you know, Emily like perfectly recreated someone's, like, you know, personality and conscious within the robots themselves, which I'm assuming if like God, like us ourselves, latched an assignment for this game, probably because I'm no God yearning for entertainment wants to watch through a game through E's eyes, like, you know, to not hear or see anything from what was it, 30 hours straight, and only like opens their, like, you know, sees the ending of their eyes, like, you know, when they personally take off their own, like, you know, visor and that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure no God in the right mind would do that. But she definitely was banking that idea. The whole thing with Emily, yeah. Think about it now. Another thing, was it technically our power, like as God, like, you know, like since we were leading along both Emily and Simon both down these games, like the information we found in endings, like, you know, carried along with us to them in different endings, and they took that information in turn because, like, literal leaking information. Once you learn something, you can't unlearn it, that sort of thing. And was it literally like Emily's power of like of like how she was created to like carry information over from one ending to the next? Like, you know, was that her, like her power entirely, or was it technically our power? And all that Emily is really just a very, very good and complex machine. And I guess even a tiny bit of a small bit of a beta one, if Italian's thing about you don't feel any emotions right now, that might be a bit concerning. The whole thing about apathy, which honestly makes sense at the time. Like, Wiley be like, your emotion will come back later. I mean, like, literally all the characters in Birth Be Co were horrible people. Except Marco, he's great. Yeah, that's that whole thing. We'll skip over the new ones for now because I want to go into those blind and see what sense I can make from there. Escape room genre is usually referring to games containing an enclosed location where the goal is to find a way out. Various objects generally can be collected, combined, and used to achieve the escape. It's a subgenre of adventure games and is often used for point-and-click games. The genre was popularized with online flash games back in the 2000s. Sadly, in this game, while there are escape the room segments, they do not provide the ability to fully explore them manually, collect objects, and combine them and use them in various creative ways. These Simon and the others are solving them, as they are part of the setting. This actually goes in well in conjunction with them. I played through a bit of the original HASC code in this version, like the original version of it, and it's kind of similar to how this game is structured a tiny bit, if I'm remembering right. Going through like all the rooms, like there was only literally like there was only one puzzle in every each room, and some of them like the first puzzle, like the infirmary, as we are aware with going with Jasmine, the whole 5 and 4 puzzle making 9. Yeah, the whole thing, and how Emily puts it as was a hint of like what the ending for the whole dating game should have been. That thing, yeah, that was the puzzle carried over, and then condensed down to the characters themselves. The next puzzle we saw, which actually was something we used to the library with Marco, it was a completely new puzzle and all that. But I'm trying to decode a thing for a message for the clock and book, which I couldn't solve. That whole thing. Gambler's fallacy. This actually contributes to the whole thing about how fruitless Emily's attempt was, which fits in this whole game's theme about selfishness and finality. This fallacy is the mistaken belief that you have the higher chance of turning a different result the more another particular event happens, as believed to be less likely to occur due to its higher frequency. For example, to someone who believes such, if you flip the coin a dozen times and it always landed on heads, the next toss would most likely be tails due to the cumulative percentage of the event not having happened yet. In reality, it is always a 50% chance in case of a coin toss, so long as the coin is considered a fair coin. For a set of dice, the probability of 1 over 216 to give your outcome, it'll always be the same 1 over 216 each attempt. So literally, it was going to be in a I'm going to assume, billion shot of this all happening. And let me just skip over something because it reminds me of another thing. The law of truly large numbers, as Jasmine put it in the lab. Given us samples, anything outrageous likely to be observed. Take 1,000 cats. There's a good chance, if they are all taken at random among all cats of the world, that you would find at least one that would be a black cat. Take a stroll outside every day. There's a good chance that you witness a scandal at least once in the tens of thousands of walks you have taken by the time you draw your last breath. Browse all millions of games in a digital storefront. There's a good chance you'll find one that you enjoy, which is this one. Indeed it is. Indeed, this is a good game. Don't worry. Your words don't lie. Actually, thinking about it, with the terminology for all the words we learned in Lexicon ending A, maybe that actually fed into Emily's whole thing about like, obviously, like, yeah, I could definitely do this again. I can make Simon, I could be with Simon together, and he'll finally forgive me after all of this. Maybe all of this this talk that the characters do in ending A, like, contribute to that. Like, giving her hope. Like, even though it's unlikely, maybe it happened enough times we do that, and all these negative pessimist terminology happens after ending A. The Amber's fallacy talking about with Simon going with Greta to the casino, the recreation room, technically speaking. He talks about that there. Always, it's so interesting. Going back up to Greta and Hannah. Greta, physical. This twin is a teenager. She's about as fit as you expect, and she doesn't have any otherworldly capabilities. Her dressing habits are the same as her sister. The two of them do so similarly on purpose. She likes jeans a lot. She keeps her wardrobe varied. She keeps her hair in pigtails as if playing up her youth. Psyche. She's slightly shyer than her sister, but while she's more innocent looking, she still harbors an intelligence that is not to be underestimated. She's capable on her own, but the fact that her sister doesn't believe that annoys her. Notes. While twins are students, due to the month, expected that they'll reach graduation by now. Another thing, like, don't remember exactly, like, I don't think that even Birth Code designate, like, what year, like, the school year, like, all the characters, like, were when when they think they were taken and kidnapped. But I'm thinking about it now, based on how the game goes and transpires. The twins were taken from the Hycosynth Polyvalent High School, whatever that it was not high school, something school, literally from I think the 2000s. As I think E28 at some point mentioned I think Hannah or Greta, as we were playing, were in their helmet most of the time, mentioned about having dial-up internet. So, literally, they were in stasis for years, and then the whole entirety of that game happens, and then the twins were put in stasis or something other, from that game for 7 years till here. For whatever reason. Hannah, this twin is a teenager, is about as fit as you expect, her dressing in her best, her sister, to two of them do a similar on purpose. Even if she likes jeans a lot, she keeps her wardrobe varied. She keeps her hair and pigtails as if playing up her youth. Psyche, she's far more hot-headed than her sister, and she has her own share of issues stemming from her past at school. She doesn't seem to care about it. She's the kind of person who only looks forward, and she harbors a great desire to protect her sister. Notes, while twins are students due to the month, expected they would reach graduation by now. So, probably the same. And as Emily put it here, the collars are put around their, both the twins' head to make them have false memories of what happened at their schools. So, they don't even remember truly what happened there during the events of the game. So, wait, think about it then. Why did Hannah or Emily... No, Hannah want to talk to Emily, or about Hannah? I wonder why she want to talk to E. Probably just to see, hey, are you suspicious of what? Disability is dumb. I wish they would just go away. I'm still not over that line. That sounds like something someone would say in real life, and I hate it. I hate it so much, but I love how it's written here. Bad statement, but good written statement. That makes sense. Oh, God. To definitely see someone saying that, I can just imagine, someone, the customer service, the whole Karen stories, that kind of stuff. Infinite monkey theorem, yeah. Monkey hanging strings at random on a typewriter would almost surely reproduce anything that has ever been typed. Assuming it does so for an infinite amount of time, regardless of the absurdly low percentage of such an event to occur. This theorem has been subject to rigorous examination in the past. Of note, the term almost surely is a mathematical term with precise meaning, and the monkey is not an actual monkey, but a metaphor for some sort of force, device, or other that would be taking the role of the monkey. Of course, the thought of a monkey with a typewriter floating in space long after that he death the universe uses you, feel free to imagine that too. So literally, since Emily, after ending A, was going and redoing this whole entire thing, she definitely could have, she definitely had her research going, and this kind of terminology even seeped into the way of some of the robots as well. That, or just the sake of bringing it up, but I definitely think her research delved whether unintentionally or not, placed this also terminology inside people, whether or not. Yeah. What was it? As she put it, the whole time I'm doing this, I'm just grasping for straws of information at the same time. Some of this stuff is actually theories I had ever since I beat the game, and just because it's at length on Moon's Discord. The back and forth I had there was great. Just I had a rows and rows of small text there. It's a sight to behold. What was it though? There's a whole giant library in this whole facility. She could learn it there, and as we find out by some code, at least by that rerun ending, she literally could look up, research terms in her head on the internet. And since she was underground, I guess she could just go above, near the metro surface and, research there. And since the police, and since the whole place was destroyed, and police never found the whole, underground bunker thing for them, literally, she had all the resources at her disposal, legitimately speaking. And literally, since the whole entire game takes place over one universe, she literally now has the ability, not, of course, not the resources, but now the ability to make smart AI and convincing human-like robots. Of course, the interior would be the dead giveaway, where there's well, bleeding is fine, but the second you try to like dissect someone and like look into their organs and all that, that's when you're immediately found out. Or if they lose a limb, you see wires everywhere, that kind of thing. Yeah. And the fact that everyone is heavy like an anvil. You can barely lift them up. And I remember a small detail from ending A when I'm like Simon had to pick up E, I think, like off the platform so I can go down and walk on the tracks. I think he mentioned she was heavy himself. So like either I'm So that means Simon must be big strong boy. Which honestly speaking, basically how I'm I think he mostly just he delivers pizza, but I'm assuming he's gained up some strength muscle mass, never skipped like day gym for all that time. I know I have a job right now like involving like that kind of like thing, working at a diner. Yeah, you definitely like you on a regular basis like get used to like lifting heavier stuff, so you get the muscles. I'm still weak, don't worry about that. Jasmine Caron Bernier. I don't even know how to properly pronounce her last name. That's never going to change. Physical. Jasmine is 24 years old. She's not especially strong, and she does not have any otherworldly capabilities. Her eyesight is fine, even without her glasses, which is why she really looks through them. She likes to wear classy outfits, double the cute appeal, and generally dyes her hair pink. Psyche. Jasmine is as caring and supportive as a big sister. She's a good head on her shoulders and can easily analyze someone's limits to avoid pushing them too much. She really hesitates, making her a truly ideal candidate for leadership. Notes. The extent of Simon's affection towards her is unclear, but he certainly misses her after 4 years. So, maybe Silent's feelings for Jasmine was also misconstrued to being a crush. Yeah, maybe. Like, literally also, like, when it comes to, of course, like, these whole endings where, like, literally everything is manipulated in the game, literally that comes down to the fact of, whether what you think, like, does this piece of information still hold up or that? But because, like, you know, since everyone's memories and even physical bodies are, like, you know, messed with in some capacity, or could be, literally everything comes to doubt. Same thing with, like, hopefully now that Danganronpa is way more popular and going through V3, whether people love it or hate the ending, they can probably get more used to this idea. Oh, the second I go with that ending, it wasn't just, oh, that's a breath of fresh air. Like, not a breath of fresh air, but it was so fresh of an idea. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I know, like, as a kid, when I'm going through middle school, I had this whole idea in my head about, that whole famous thing about everything being a lie, but I had no idea how to grapple with that concept. The barest minimum thing I had for a concept of that sort of thing where everything's a lie was basically two human protagonists, like, living in a small town, and going about their normal life, and then they realize like, we're the only two living human people in this town, and the rest are either, like, robots or aliens, because we're literally the last of our kind. They're trying to get us to come together and repopulate and all that kind of stuff. Everything's been a lie, and they're just trying to simulate culture again, like a zoo, to make sure everything, like, works like we're extinct animals, that sort of thing. Yeah. It was a basic concept, but I couldn't think of a good way to, like, start it or end it, for that matter. It was just literally just that idea of a plot, and that's it. I don't even think I've touched it ever since I, like, literally just wrote it down from head to pen to paper. That whole idea of just, like, messing with that idea, whether things being real or fake, oh boy. Yep. So, I took the ending of V3, and it always themes way more personally. And since my whole shtick is literally I'm too passionate about storytelling, literally I'm being passionate about fictional, fake things. And I literally wrote a paper on this about, in school, about, like, why we as an audience strive and actually seek out these kind of stories which elicit real, and I mean real physical, emotional responses in us. And that comes down to, I remember going through an entire list of, like, different philosophers going in different tacks about how we could. Many different people like going up and up. Like I remember one philosopher saying like, we really don't, like, you know, I forget exactly what they said, but they just believed everything was fake and we're just like following it along for the sake of it. But it doesn't explain the fact like some people actually had real physical emotional responses to it, like some people like literally breaking down, like me, like in numerous cases, yeah, or someone being sad to be overly joyous and giddy at certain things in a fake thing. Yeah, I think the conclusion I found someone go to, which I heavily agreed to, comes down to two things. It's literally, I think, I forget one of them, but I know the other is most definitely comes down to your own personal empathy, how much you relate to the characters on screen, and how much you identify the situation, or the struggles and all that. That's literally what makes it good. That's probably the reason why you strive for certain types of stories, like in my case, as of currently looking through stories that has a theme of rebellious nature, or like fighting back against, I guess, the status quo. Technically, I like that kind of story ever since as a kid because, my God, jeez, just let people like what they like, okay? Yeah, that's my little ramble all the way. When he went to the law of the truly large numbers, Little Wood's law. According to this law, an event with the odds of 1 in a million, defined as a miracle, can be experienced roughly once every month as a result of his observation of one event per second from awake, alert, human. Dang, Emily, your plan was doomed to fail from the beginning, huh? However, events are not similar in nature, and a state of common event is largely unchanging from a second to another. Also, the chance of such an event to occur is 0, nil, zilch, nada. It will not occur. Part of this belief can lead to confirmation bias, which is a tendency to recall only events supporting one's claim. Yeah, that was me. Came with the hunch about the NTS because we learned about the NTS in the code, and so the game takes place after this, and it takes place before this game, and literally it was Mark Time trying their best to like stop their events of the NTS. I think like maybe this would be like, actually, yeah, thinking about it. This could be like another test that the MTS did. That's my thought of it. It doesn't make sense for them doing this all over again for the other group, especially with themselves all over again. Didn't make sense at the time. So half right there, half wrong. Yeah. However, events are not similar in nature, and the state of a common event is largely occurring. I already said that before. Part of this is tendency confirmation bias, tendency to recall only events supporting one's claim. The fact this game exists is a miracle, and it took years to make, not a single month. Yeah, I can only imagine. All this planning for that. Oh boy. Even then, Project 4 is going to place, and already just going through Discord, Moon has other ideas for like even his own interpretation, his own idea and response to how Danganronpa should be, which I am actually very interested to see how that goes. I really love closed circles, like the whole closed circle concept. Too much there. Probably also the fact I love locked room mysteries, that kind of thing. And since that game Danganronpa put also heavy emphasis on even studying a character's personality as well as put that in, which also invariably contributes to the fact you get attached to some characters, and you get sad that someone's dead, and then get sad that another character you like is dead, and how much pain that one character's going through and all that, and back and forth like that forever, right? Yeah. Oh, it's great. I love it. Many worlds interpretation. I'm definitely thinking this is either a red herring or literally a foreshadow. This Mitzchievous interpretation says that all possibilities split the world into a multiverse. Instead of changing the course of time, as whenever someone somewhere makes any kind of decision, is Mitzchievous, as implies that every single microsecond of every day, this universe splits into another's image of itself as a result of every single choice made by everything has ever been. Ever. Ever, ever, forever. This would mean the universe would exist a number of times we might not even begin to comprehend. So that means, like I said before, if I move my finger, that leads to one universe and the other one doesn't. Like, I do that whole joke again. Maybe I should now. What's it like these possibility? The universe exists an infinite number of times, or there really is only one universe? And if you can never get to those universes, do they really exist? I guess it goes to the whole thing about before the movie, the Ex Machina. But what you see before, you can't tell if it's real or not. Is this a really thing? I'm still hung up on over that whole thing. plus also the nuances of truth and lies. I definitely like that concept a lot. I would love to see like someone like discuss the whole thing down in the comments. I would love to go back and forth on that. I don't care. It's too much fun of a concept for me. Marco Martin. Physical. Marco is 24 years old. He's not too weak, yet he doesn't harbor any otherworldly capabilities. Marco should. Superman powers. He generally wears a shirt with some advanced concept or other on it, always custom made, and he never goes out without his authentic jacket. He also highly enjoys his piercings and tattoo. They're pretty sick tats, I'll give you that. Psyche. Marco can't place 2 words without thinking of a stupid pun or a dumb joke. Me. In contrast to his joking nature, he's still fairly smart. He has a master's degree in a complex scientific field, which is no easy feat, pneumatics, oh boy. Despite that, he's also very lazy. Same. Notes. He's been Simon's roommate for 3 years and might harbor feelings for him, yet they are unrequited. Oh yeah, if you're wondering about this, I played through the original HASC code, and this same detail is put in the original game, so this is always a thing. I love him even more now. Metro reality. The Metro of Montreal is a subway comprised of 4 colored lines. The orange line, which is the longest line, made of 31 stations and shaped like a letter U. The blue line, which is made of 12 stations connected to an orange line and shaped like a big old lightning bolt. The green line, which is made of 27 stations going across the orange and yellow lines. And the yellow line made of 3 stations, mostly to connect to a city on the other side of the river. Naturally, it's impossible to include all those stations in the game. There are plans to add a pink line to this complex system, but these plans haven't been finalized as of 2020. The pink line exists by 2022. Apologies for the inaccuracy between reality and fiction. Feel free to imagine its existence. Just imagine by the end of 2022, this game suddenly updates, and like people are like, whoa, oh my gosh, there's new extras, and like the only details missing here is this small thing, like the pink line. This whole paragraph of the Metro just gone forever now. I could totally imagine that. Montreal. Situated on an island and surrounding a small mountain called Mount Moyle, from which Montreal takes its name, it is one of the biggest cities in Quebec, Canada. It's a melting pot of cultures and languages with many different ethnicities living in the same space. Its many sites such as the Old Montreal Botanical Garden, the Notre Dame Basilica, St. Joseph's Oratory, whatever that word means, and more, make it a nice place for tourism. There's also the Fine Arts Museum, which Simon has visited a few times, even if he fails to understand exactly what's so great about fine arts despite studying the same subject. Arts is great, and okay, I know it's 11:45 right now where I am. I don't want to fucking sleep again. Sleep is for the weak. No, please sleep whatever it is. Sleep is good. Nomadics. If you search on the internet, you'll find that the word nomadic is an obsolete adjective relating to the understanding of something or another. More nomadic, most nomadic. However, there's most primary meaning in this case. It also comes from the word noma, which is derived from a Greek word meaning the things thoughts are made of, or simply thought. Any intentional act such as the perception of something, what one means when they do or say something, judging something, etc., are all nomadics, and the object targeted by them is the nomadic correlate. In other words, it's primarily a fancy way of saying, especially in the context of this game, nomadics are one's will and those affected. And I can definitely imagine nomadics actually becoming like an actual, college and major in the future. Actually, I really do. Rest of existence, that's the thing I want to see about next, but going to list, I definitely want to see, there's so much here. Ray. Physical. Ray's about 50 years old, built like a truck. He's a very tall and imposing man, even if he has no otherworldly capabilities besides muscle. He has an issue finding clothes that fit him. Even the suits he wears look slightly undersized. The gray growing in his hair is slightly covering the fact he's a redhead. Psyche. Ray is a very irate man. Whenever he speaks up, he always talks harshly and directly, much to the displeasure of everyone else. In a way that makes him reliable. Since he doesn't like you, you'll be very aware of it. Despite that, he's a teacher. Wonder how the students take of that. No, he always carries around a flask with a suspicious drink. Might be alcoholic, which would explain his constant bad mood. And but it's medicine. Mitch. Yeah, I can't fault him for being, that way if I'm, I need this to drink this medicine or else I die. Do you want me to stop taking it? Yeah? Go to fucking hell. Schrodinger's cat, the greatest pseudoscience technology, delays evolution in pseudoscience technology. Also known as this cat buck experiment, this particular thought experiment was first brought up by Erwin Schrödinger in 1935 to make fun of quantum mechanics. To make fun of it. Due to its popularity, you will be spared getting another explanation to the Cohagen interpretation, which is the proper name behind this theory. Instead, let's delineate the problem brought up by the cat and box problem. The point of observation, which is what measures the status one or the other, is not properly defined. In other words, while the experiment itself outlines almost exactly how the Cohagen interpretation functions, there is another important fact to take into consideration. What of the cat? Can't it perceive as well? Yeah, actually the way how the game even puts it here, even like Moon makes fun of it here in this case, like literally, is since like as Virtue's Last Reward did, with both like literally the entirety of everyone inside, it actually applies to even the beginning of the whole entire game of 999, whether when the characters are on an actual sinking ship or in like Nevada desert in Building Q, and if you're thinking about like talking about spoilers, like if you're mad I'm talking about spoilers here, like I'm more surprised you're going to these games first instead of Zero Escape, because this game is like those games are the baseline for this series here. And then there's a Virtue's Last Reward, which, yeah, the entirety of also of where the building is, speaking, is it in the Nevada desert again, or on the fucking moon? And the fact about Kay, which is another favorite character of mine, literally what was it, 7 from 99 is my favorite, and also yeah, Kay and Virtue's Last Reward. I love those two. Yeah. The whole thing about whether I was Kyle Climb, yeah, like I'm Sigma's clone, like clone son, or it was literally Akane Kurashiki inside the suit, depending on like, you know, whether she's alive or dead. Yeah. There's always a back and forth between that. So in Fourier, physical. Simon is 24 years old. He's your very average guy with any otherworldly capabilities whatsoever. He actually started losing weight after beginning his work for Pizza Hewitt. Hewitt. So he eats smaller meals now as a result of it. There's one physical thing he excels at. It's running away. Psyche. Simon is quite the cowardly guy. He's easily struck with indecision and uncertainties. And he very often imagines worst-case scenarios which only feeds into that. Regardless of his nature, he maintains his composure well, even if he is a wreck. Note. Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering I got in the situation, huh? Record scratch. Guess anything can happen to normal guys like me. Sigh. Yeah. That's another thing to think about. This is something that came up in like back and forth on Discord as well, but this is the one time, at least for this paragraph, like it seems like Sam is talking by himself, and all the other ones are always like in third person about him. Like for example, Montreal, like, you know that? Yeah. Like, another thing just got reminded of the Striker's Cat. I talked about like literally like the main interpretation of the Striker's Cat itself, but not how the game puts it. So the game's putting it like, since we're in the box, yeah. Yeah, so like we're technically the cat in this situation in the box, and we're trying to figure out what's different in the outside world. We don't know whether everyone else is alive or dead. What if the true Striker's Cat experiment was scientists are in a room, which depending on whether the cats are dead or alive, they're dead or alive. Everything's a 50% chance. I guess there's a 25% chance for each possibility. One for where the scientists are alive or dead, the cat's alive or dead. So 4 outcomes, and only one way to get it. So yeah. Smiley. There is no one. Look elsewhere. They have died. No longer there. Different person? Who? Me. Or you? No one can tell under the smile. That ends well. Really just vile. Time changes all endlessly. Time breaks all. Ultimately. You may explore, but never escape. I am all the same under this cape. Nice! Sick rhymes, dude! Yeah. Thing? Oh yeah. And also this little mystery. The magnificent Zachary. Huh. He's an illusionist who specializes in the art of hypnotism. For many years, he's been accused of fraud, as many believe his shows to be fake. As of recently, he's ceased giving shows altogether, uncertain if he'll ever return on stage. Apparently, at his peak, his shows were very popular among teens. Did you think he would really be anyone else? No, he's just a magician. So, Zachary is both a principal and an ex-magician, which that's gonna be interesting to see. I swear, Zachary has to be in Deforge. I swear, we have to see him at least once. Like, we have to. Like, we literally have to. I swear, and Italian has to be there too. Just the fact that, like, if they're actual characters we see and talk to in that game, just the fact that, that's to come into play as well. I guess it's the whole thing about how Birth Me Code does it. Like, there's 2 quote-unquote main characters as well. Like, what was that? I forget how the game puts it. I think it was similar to like the E equals MC squared thing. At least how the game puts it, E equals MC2 multiplied instead. So literally, besides Emily, it's one other person. And if it's not Simon, and we're just latching onto him from story's sake because God is an entertainment-seeking, attention-seeking entity, really does not want to see him 30 hours worth of Emily just going through staring at nothing, hearing nothing, and only feeling what people tell her, which could be right or wrong. So yeah, insightful, amazing, entertaining. Yeah, no wonder the gods of this place are great. Well, it's, you know, I want more entertainment. I mean, why are you watching this video? This is entertainment and also informative, I guess. And going all the way back into the top two to the bottom for the new stuff. Emily Fiction. Oh god, for a second there I thought I could see like she had literally no eyes again, and I swear to god I would freak the fuck out again. Like that actually got to me. Physical. This girl was 27 years old. She was quite frail and has said that she's both blind and deaf. With her disability, she doesn't seem to faze the world around her. The dress she wears is stark contrast to the headset she has, seeming more lifelike versus the technology she has in her head. Her hair is a strange color. Psyche. She's a gentle and caring soul. She usually weighs her words very carefully because she's afraid of saying the wrong thing. She's a lot smarter than she appears. Regardless of her pleasant company, she remains shrouded in mystery. Notes. Simon qualifies her voice as nice to hear, even melodious despite it being average. Which, if this happened with ending A, either means NTS would like mess with Simon way much more, or Emily in some way. And oh god. It's actually the first clue that something's going on with her, and I shouldn't have trusted her, but I definitely did because I'm familiarity. God, that's just my sucker loyalty brain going. Loyalty monkey brain go. Yeah. Yeah. I'm still so happy I managed to get that anagram for Etine's name. So happy about that. I was actually planning to make that into like a longer thing if it didn't go. I was actually planning to reveal it during this whole playthrough as well, just so discreetly as well. Just well, I was just going back and forth and just thinking oh hi Emily. Oh wait, fuck, I wasn't supposed to say that. Like a joke reveal like that. Or literally just doing a whole making up a fake puzzle thing, like just that interrupts the ending of a game or in between of a video I do, and literally putting that in, like, first is a, like, you know, thing to get everyone to think about it, like, you know, another anagram thing but sound HASC code, and then I'm slowly getting, you know, updated more and more, going different possibilities, which I just decided to go put that into Birth Me codes, like, you know, pre-written ending. I was doing that there for like a test run, and yeah, to see if I could do it, which that was tedious as all ever living fuck, but it was fun to see how it ended up. I fly coin time. How many coins do you need? We don't know. Emily's. Emily says it stands for Electro-Autonomous Memory-Driven Informal Liberty, but in truth, even that acronym is a little bit of a lie. First of all, Emily's are arguably as alive as real people, as they are a person's programming, memories and experiences, printed into a complex biotechnological brain. While they may not be artificially created without some kind of disastrous result, the memories and experiences contained within each person can be replicated by making a perfect copy of the brain's construct. Being machines, they also have unbelievable strength as they lack any sort of limiter upon their functions. They are matured within special vats which are more akin to 3D printers. Huh. Same thing with those. Huh. Wow. It's a thing to think about. Like, what's the difference between the Emily's as Emily made these and difference between the Ex Machinas as Etine made them? What's the big difference there? Like, they seem almost practically the same, and as like Emily herself puts it, like in the game, the many different other robots that we find in the theater are literally also failed, like, you know, other robots, and they seem to match the description about Etine says of what is it, like other like beta Ex Machinas having wires everywhere. So literally that means Emily's having almost need the exactly same ideas as Etine, and literally she now has the power to project all that research and knowledge from this universe reset to the next, And if my thing is right, and if Project Deforge takes place after, like, you know, on Universe 288, let's see another calculation here. 300 minus 288, and this is going on the assumption that I'm as time puts it, that human race, like, you know, goes away at Universe Reset 300 and not after Universe Reset 300. That means that the game, the Project Forge, only has 12 endings. And with the whole fact that I'm the grad machine in Birth Me Code, as a time snatched an NTS and was messing around with it and using that and Birth Me Code for actually what reason? Why was it into the facility with them? Why? Maybe it was her way to try to test it? Don't explain exactly why she was using it there. Probably explain Project Deforge, but And as Agnos put it here, when Simon offhandedly talks about time travel, he literally brings up you need some kind of machine that defies gravity, and I wonder what fits that description. Obviously, no machine, remember? Like, there's a game called Break Become that has that. What are you talking about? That doesn't exist. Eh. What's Informal Liberty? Oh, library. God damn it! I said liberty. What the fuck is wrong with me? I wonder if they do the exact same thing about they try to search. They can search like internet if they remember the ability to do that. But since, you know, the whole entire world is destroyed by the time, like, you know, starting endings go. Yeah. We actually didn't even know why why the world went into apocalypse. That part's actually probably going to be explained in Project Forge, maybe. Lots of maybes here. Favorite word is maybe in this episode. Don't worry about it. My other favorite words are cozy, and atmosphere, and story. Ending letters. Oh, this is the one I was curious about. Each ending of the game is listed as a letter, beginning the letter A for the first ending. Oh, it's actually going from the ending A to ending S, not the letters we get at the ending of certain ones, like the Smiley or Smiley or Emily. That's actually great thing. I actually lost my shit again on that one. Each ending of the game is listed as a letter, beginning with the letter A for the first ending, and S for the final one. This is a stupid way of marking them, and Emily should know better because this means she could only have labeled 26 attempts. Then again, she probably thinks that it needs so many of them. Perhaps the thought didn't occur to her. In ending G, the twin with the smiley helmet proclaims that G has failed, refers to attempt G, or ending G, and not to the other twin. Additionally, this game is named Head as Code, partially because it is formed in the first ending, ending A, Head, and last, ending S, Code. Let me just, Head A, ending A, Head, to make the S code. That makes so much fucking sense. Wow. I remember actually thinking of trying to making that joke before I started the episode, but I forgot about it. Dang. I like how my jokes even then start just thinking about transcending reality. My god. That was like, I made a single fucking joke and You're Gonna Die, and that became an emotional climax for me, like, oh, fucking Christ. Oh god. Okay, back to Lexicon anyway. And God, I wonder who that is. The subject of God has been heavily debated among many, many minds and over many, many years. Some say it exists, some say it does not. The debate is primarily centered around Catholicism. The intent of this entry is not to revive that debate, rather mention that one's definition of God can vastly differ between multiple accounts. In the context of this game, God refers the outside viewpoint observing the world in which it's been brought to. You could liken it to the player, or perhaps more accurately, the amalgam of information by which the world exists. An AI. This is something to consider since it's mostly left unclear, yet all things must have an explanation. I swear to God, I swear, Project Forge has some other fourth wall breaking thing there, and I'm gonna live for it. I'm already too excited. I feel better already after like the years of starting this channel, so I feel so much better. Headset and faceplate. I said that the headset and faceplate act as slightly painful recreators to human senses. They would thus be reconstructing the hearing and vision based upon one's DNA sequence in order to cure even absolute deafness and blindness. You can liken them to small 3D printers, being directly printed working body parts ought to be numbly painful and extremely precise. In truth, the headset and faceplate Emily wears don't do anything by themselves and only this is a trick, as she is neither blind nor deaf. entire purpose was the opposite, was to make her blind and deaf in order to not witness anything until she could see, and hear again, the good ending she planned to have. I did guess, Some part of me is wondering exactly, Maybe it's because, like, literally, I was overwhelmed with information by the end of that, and, like, the whole delineation about me, like, forgiving Emily there, because that's usually how my brain works. Like, I give people the benefit of the doubt in any circumstance. But, Don't understand that whole purpose of her plan, though, for Emily. Like, blinding herself besides, like, us watching for a reason? Don't know why. Definitely need to experience the ending again. Gives me more incentive to play through the game again. Such an existence of placebo effect. When was the placebo effect mentioned? I don't remember that being brought up. Quantum entirely, that's gonna be a fun thing to read through. According to the anthropic principle, the universe exists in the way... I just really forgot what the anthropic principle is. What the fuck? The universe exists in the way it is because there is life to observe its existence. The perception of existence draws upon the fact, but it also goes even further. For something to exist at all, it must be witnessed. There is an old saying that asks, if a tree falls in the forest and there is no one to witness it, did it really fall? The answer will be no, for those who adhere to this theory. If something must be seen or heard in order to exist, then there needs a way for the observer to exist too. The question is, who is the observer? And the answer is, naturally, God. In the context of the story, God does not willingly create, God creates by witnessing. Which must be a sad existence for God himself. Very sad existence. Still love how that's used for this game, though. A placebo is basically a lie. God damn it, everything in life is a lie. Generally used in medicine, a placebo is supposed to make you believe that your body is getting better, like sugar pills, and encourage its chemical process to fight the symptoms of disease. Other times, a placebo exists solely to reassure you, and a disease will be naturally extinguished. The placebo effect is the difference in the body between the placebo and not using one. Don't tell anyone, but Ray's medicine is a placebo, which is why it's so miraculous. In reality, he does not have a brain disease that is also placebo. He's made a placebo to fight placebo. Interestingly, if he didn't make the medicine, he might die by now, even if both are placebos. The power of belief sure is strong, don't you think? Wait, what? Ray's brain he doesn't have a disease? How the fuck did he ever imagine he had one if he never did get one? Oh god, did he go to a hospital or something like that, and like he did like a normal doctor checkup, and doctors like he got a false positive, like, oh, looks like you got brain cancer right here. Fuck. Oh my god. That must suck. Oh fuck. Remember the MTS, like, you know, took a brain, like, he got a brain scan because he became overly conscious about, you know, being healthy and all that? Oh god, but that account, like, literally, if, like, whether he made the medicine or not, or, like, the MTS help him make the medicine, either way, I'm assuming I'm gonna make the rash, and of course, obviously, 100% correct and accurate assessment, and the MTS basically, like, told him outright and lied to him that he has brain disease, and they sort of helped make the medicine with him, that the medicine has side effects of making him angry and irate. So, literally, that was him, even when he didn't drink that medicine. I wonder what that medicine tastes like now, think about it. It's not gonna taste like alcohol, is it? I wonder if we're ever gonna get that latest evolution in medicinal technology about literally anything tastes like soda or something like that. That's the biggest thing we need to learn how to do in, like, you know, modern days. Making healthy food taste good instead of being so goddamn bland, or just that thing, you know? The reason, like, fast food is so goddamn cheap, but healthy food is, like, expensive. That's a contradiction of life, isn't it? Quantum mortality. Oh, I can't believe what indirect insults are going to that game. I've heard bits and pieces of how Quantum Suicide goes, and I think I know by the ending of that game, like, I get slight spoilers for that game, if you really even care to know about that game's plot or not. Like, I'm not gonna spoil the plot, but, like, a small aspect of the game that, I think the final trending, the game's title changes from Quantum Suicide to Quantum Mortality for whatever reason or another. That's, like, just a small, like, menu spoiler, I guess, like, same thing as HASC code does here, with the different glitching effects. Quantum Mortality. Do you know Sugar's cat? No. Of course I don't. Of course you do. Oh, fuck, how'd you know? Quantum Suicide, and by extension, Quantum Mortality, is Sugar's cat seen through the eyes of the cat. Oh. Oh. Hmm. If there is an observer inside the box when the killing device triggers, or doesn't trigger, then there are two possible outcomes, one in which the observer will die and be unable to observe, and one where the observer will survive. The former is impossible, as the universe requires an observer to exist, considering guaranteeing the cat will remain alive until event X, which is indeterminate. This is the core of the quantum mortality. It means that, no matter what, the one who houses the universe's observer will not be allowed to die, or else the universe will end. That actually fits in so well to literally any game ever, literally fucking Christ. I remember like even having a discussion with a friend as well, like we really talk about anything, like literally anything, even philosophical shit. It's great about this whole thing about technically you're always gonna live no matter what like terrible situation you're put in until invariably you die of like, you know, some cause or another. Like as they put it, it was either like you live or you don't. How'd they go about it? Yeah, I think it was the exact same way as quantum immortality though. Don't know if they learned about that concept at all, or they literally just thought up themselves. But they thought up themselves. That's honestly amazing to think about. That's cool. Hypothesis. Oh, I love this one. Oh, it's like grand old paradox. I love it. Imagine an old ship. It has many troubles on the sea and requires constant repairs. The parts that are replaced eventually cover the entire ship. The question is it the same ship as the one you started with? Additionally, consider what to do with the spare parts that they have been taken over from the ship. If they're used to rebuild the first ship entirely, which one's the real ship? The one which had its parts entirely replaced over time, or is the one made of the old parts? Are both the same ship? Was the ship cloned? Many questions, very little answers. This depends on one's own perception. Naturally, this becomes an existential nightmare when applied to people. Yep. Comes down to the fact that no one's fucking special. Probably too harsh for me to say it bluntly, but yeah, that's how it feels like to me. And it feels like someone can clone, or like literally someone can make parts of like another person, like make it into that. What's so different about you and all that? Never mind my robophobic tendencies, don't worry about that. Robots don't have souls, even though I definitely was getting emotional a tiny bit. I was actually, if it was me in the situation with Simon with the reactor ending with Robot Hand, I probably would have done the same thing. Never mind that, I always say robophobic. Maybe I'm just saying that so, I cover my own robophobic bias. What is the truth? What's the lie for me? I don't know. It's your interpretation, huh? It's mystery games. You gotta use your brains. Anthropic principle, pseudoscience. The principle states the universe exists in the way it does because it has to exist this way in order to bring life into it. This makes the assumption that living entities may only be carbon-based. Only. As one of the possible explanations for the universe being this exact way. If it had not been, the universe wouldn't have life, and thus would be observable. This is tangentially related to the perception of existence, but not exactly the same. This is more about the universe's will to exist, and it has to rely on something else in order to do so. If it was just on its lonesome, it wouldn't work. There has to be two, the observer and the observed. Can't go on a date alone, right? I mean, this is a dating game after all. I'm actually still sad and shocked that this game doesn't have like a fossil rock geology joke about, like, you know, dating. I was actually waiting for it. Never did. So sad. Oh boy. But carbon-based. It reminds me of this webcomic I read, like, which unfortunately as of now has been continued for a reason. I don't know the reason for it, and literally, like, even if a webcomic, like, or like some creation, like, gets abandoned, like, please don't attack the author or like whoever made it. Like, literally, there's probably a good reason one way or another why they, like, you know, decide to stop making it. With they lost a passion in the product, and if they decide to keep going on, it'll just get worse and worse. Or, like, literally, they can't think of any more ideas, a good way to end it, stuff like that, and they literally can't force it. Or literally, there's instances outside their control which they can't do it. I know it happens a few times with me recording stuff. Like, I have to focus on different things going on in my life, so yeah. Like, literally also, I need to think about that more, but right now, I'm gonna be like, just for the moment think about this, which I might think of this more, but don't like, don't try to idolize people. Like, I guess the whole thing about idealizing people, like, they're people too, okay? Like, I know I made plenty of mistakes, like, oh boy, I don't know what kind of mistakes I've made before. Like, nothing terrible, but in my opinion, maybe they're terrible in your eyes, in someone's eyes who watches this and hears this from my own goddamn lips, or from this disembodied voice of the video that you're watching right now. That whole thing. And again, like I keep saying before, literally, morality, reasoning, everything is so goddamn fucking great. Nothing is black and white. It's not. And if something is, like, you know, black and white, it's either, like, they're either very simplistic, or, deceptive. Yeah. Yeah. Simple-minded. That whole thing. Now we don't need to think about the anthropic principle. Simon put the anthropomorphic principle. That joke makes me laugh. Color is fiction. Each color has a number. Number 1 is worn by the gentle twin. 2 is worn by Simon. 3 is worn by Marco. 4 is worn by the old man. 5 is worn by the older other twin. 6 is worn by Ray. 7 is worn by the enigmatic girl. 8 is worn by Jasmine. Jasmine has to go with Jasmine has to go with Greta. It's like the true twin pair. Simon has to go with Ian. Well, that's because the MTS wanted that to happen, and like it was her decision to make those pairings or not. 3 is worn by Marco, and Marco wants to go with Ray, for one reason or another. Wonder why. And the old man, I guess, goes with the other twin. I wonder about that too, actually, thinking about it. I wonder what the reason is for why the numbers are paired up for this way for other characters. Simon and E, I guess, in some capacity makes sense, and so do the twins in some way, like, you know, like reuniting and all that kind of stuff. But what about Marco and Ray and old man, the other twin? I guess, technically speaking, the old man is like a loose end to tie up from and he has to deal with, and so is the other twin, actually, since they're a robot, Hannah. Yeah. So they're technically a loose end to tie up, I guess, a tiny way? Yeah, just my own stupid theory. Additionally, collars emit data in the form of electromagnetic waves, which are captured by nearby Emilys. These Emilys then gain the digitized memories and experiences within each of their structures. They can also be used to create false knowledge, although it's prone to errors as memories and experiences are not so simple. Yeah. That's probably the thing about why I'm, You can't, like, as the game keeps bringing up, like, how, a quote and phrase I love now that I think about it, even, like, talking about Discord. The second you learn information, you can never, ever unlearn it. I love that quote here in this whole Bimby series. I love it. I love it to death. Oh, boy. A dating game organizes someone who only makes themselves known as Smiley, in which the objective is to escape. The solution inferred by this monologue is to find a 9th person in the group, who is soon to be hidden somewhere among the stations, but he never said to find a ninth person. He has to go together with a person to make 9, which I'm thinking about now. I never questioned that. Well, I just realized I'm probably that person who looks very closely with the smaller details, but completely misses over the big details. Oh boy. If there is no 9th person, in the first iteration of the game, what Smiley said is explained as such. The additional person is another one in the group, but explains why everyone has to head out in duos. Each pair number is added to 9, as where that additional Al person? Oh, that is where the addition and dating parts come from. Dating parts. Now can be interpreted as taking place on multiple dates, as in multiple days in the calendar, since this game repeats as many times as Smiley wheels it. Huh. So it's just game is gonna keep going on, and since the many different locations are supposed to do that sort of thing, until someone gets arguably like the theater or the reactor, things will keep going that way until someone figures out the whole concept of Lisa scanner gate, leaving the other 7 alone to die. The MTS. Oh boy, what kind of cryptic information to give us? MTS. A vile organization uses humans for various experiments, all of which are horribly dangerous and unethical. They're convinced that what they're doing is for the greater good. Oh, fuck me. Greater good shit. And they diligently follow religion centered around some kind of all-seeing god. You know, we kind of caused all this then, huh? Just by us existing and going to this game, we made the MTS happen. How does it make you feel, y'all? The fact that you just watching this video right now just made these people, whether they're fictional to you or not. This is all your fault. This is all my fault. In truth, this organization is said to be large enough to have as members as many exceptionally gifted individuals from all over the globe. It's separating smaller factions which all have a different emblem. As of 2022, their largest branch was arrested, leading to their disbanding, yet a few of their adherents remain at large. And it's hopefully... Moon released like a teaser image about something ready to part of Deforge, which looks to be like 12 different emblems, all like something from an A to B side, left to right. And this symbol behind here, that all, there's two of them here. The symbol for HASC code, and there was like a cool S symbol there too. So that could either mean like some characters from both games are coming and some new ones appeared as well. Off the top of my head, there's one with flower petals and all that. I'll show them on screen, hopefully, and I swear to God, future me, if you forget, then you're stupid. The whole thing about flowers, top of my head, a headset, and what was it? Yeah, it was a headset. Yeah, cool, that's the two things. I forget the rest, though, top of my head. I know there was two different versions of those teasers, one which had question marks all over it, and the updated one which has all the emblems in place, along with how the emblems are like shifted around. And as Moon put it for the questioning, like the ordering doesn't like, it's not expressly important, but it's now, the diagram is now in the correct placements somehow. So the order itself doesn't really matter, but in a way it does. That's weird to think about. Yeah. The MTS. The MTS, or the Montreal Transport Society, is the company which has as task, that's a typo, to regulate the trains and buses in Montreal. That's pretty much it. They do good work and are almost always on the clock. Godspeed. Salute. They have absolutely nothing to do with the MTS, which is a completely different thing altogether. This acronym is simply a phonetic equivalent to MTS, which is why someone misunderstood Marco's words when he mentions them that one time in the story. Actually, that even applies to like the other times, like which is actually a good type of unreliable error, because he misheard it, and so did I, and I didn't even realize it until literally Marco spells it out. The MTS, no, the MTS. God damn it. And the real Jasmine. Hannah said that she didn't know where the real Jasmine was, and that's completely correct. Someone does not know either, and that is the case for everyone else. If that's the case, what is Jasmine like in reality, and where is she located? The answer to the former is pretty much what you've seen so far. Jasmine in this story, even if it's really Hannah, does have the manners and personality of the real Jasmine of the day. The brain scan used to copy was taken. Used to copy. As for the other question, wouldn't you like to know? Does that mean everyone had a brain scan at some point? They got a brain scan for one reason or another. Or because of the year 2022, it's mandatory for every citizen to have a brain scan. That sounds really suspicious, though. Yeah. Reminds me of Soma. That's a good game. Play that, as a good one. It also deals with existential themes like that. But what's real and fake? I love that game. Is also good. This whole her thing about what happened to the real Jasmine has to be explained as well. Like I guess the real Simon is goddamn dead, or at least in Universe 2.8.8 version Reset of the Universe. And oh boy, I guess so was Marco in this sense. Like, oh god, if I connected the dots that Marco was truly dead in this universe, I probably would immediately just mashed Don't Forgive. Loyalty to a T. Types of VATs. Not all VATs are equal. That's VATist? Some VATs are used to bring something to maturity, while others are used to preserve instead. Some of them work on humans, others only work with objects. It's quite complicated technology, so I'll spare you the details. The most important part is that these VATs can't be owned by the common people. So, who then could possess such things? What about the reactor? What exactly could cause all this to happen? Could one person really do it alone? This kind of technology is fascinating because it makes cloning essentially possible, if one was willing to wait. It takes 12 years for the Emily's to be produced. Otherwise, the other kind of VATs can sustain something for hundreds of years. Brings to the whole question again of makes sense why Emily put herself in, like, you know, a preservation vat. Make sure a plan of, like, want to be forgiven and get a good ending with Simon or something like that happens. Yay. God damn. And something going along with the twins, and, like, technically the same vats which were used on the My Emptiness kids and that game. Birth Me Code. Yeah. And finally, the University of Montreal. The University of Montreal is a public research university in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. It is located in the northern slope of Mount Royal and has 13 faculties, more than 60 departments, and 2 affiliate schools. It is the largest university in Quebec and it offers well over 600 programs, including over 70 doctoral programs. It is where Simon is studying the fine arts and where Marco studied for his master's degree. The two of them live nearby in an apartment within the neighborhood of Outremont. It is based upon a real school which has a very similar name translated from French. Right, so, like, this is a real school then, or... Wait, do you mean based off a real school? Like the talking of the university in the game is, like, based off of the actual University of Montreal, or, like, the real-life University of Montreal is based off another school, which was, French. Okay, I understand the lineage to that. I'm gonna assume, like, the game's version of University of Montreal is taken from the real-life University of Montreal. I'll go with that assumption. And that's all of them. Oh boy, there's a few things which don't exactly pipe my, like, answer those mysteries. Maybe I come close to maybe a possible answer for that, but not really. I still also love how, like, this goes up and down, like, when you scroll it. Like, I mean, look at that, it's cool. It's like the gears are turning. Yeah, I love that. And Birthday Code is soon getting an update for, like, the other bonus of, like, other bonus information, which is going to do overhaul of how the flowchart is going to look, how confusing that was on the first glance, which definitely confused me as well, and so many other people, and which actually was a very common complaint, so that's the reason why it's getting a bit of an overhaul, along with a graphical upgrade for the menu stuff at least, and a few things, like, how the game's presented, like at least for how, like, is going, like, there's some characters which, have smoother transitions in that. Like, none of the artwork now is gonna be replaced, but it's gonna be more polished and smoothed out. Like, a lot of where's the way to put this? Like, sprites changing from one motion to another, like, more smoothly, and, like, transitions and like that. Like, maybe, like, sound effects and explosions, like, emphasis. Like, imagine, like, those times where like, those, like, points of emphasis for, like, characters. The best thing I think about is, like, how Phoenix Wright, sends his desk for emphasis, or, like, you know, music goes all about that. Like, you know, points of emphasis, like, that polish is going into Birth Me Code as well for more. The whole beginning point, at least maybe that's the only point which is getting that whole update. Doubt that point, but has that sort of thing going. There's small screenshots of how Birth Me Code is going, which I know by the time that comes out, this whole video is going to be a bit outdated and timeless, but I like these to be just how they are, just figure things out before. Yeah. It goes all my questions, and from what I go from Project Deforge, there's one idea I have in my mind, like, I guess, like a possibility in my head, since literally how different and similar these two games are. Obviously the third game, Deforge, where the name is going to turn out to be, is going to involve breaking the fourth wall with God again in some way, the player. I really want to see another idea with that, because I love fucking meta and fourth wall breaks and real and fake shit. I love it to death, like, literally. I love it. That's why I'm probably into this game series a lot. And Zachary and some characters from these games are probably going to make a return. And the main Cephalo self, I think, which is supposed to be the main, like, I guess, quote-unquote, also main character in a quote for a story, which I guess Emily was. Then someone else, maybe that's Simon or not, depends really altogether. Could be a number of different things. And also, what is the word? The idea I had was, since HASC Code and Birth Me Code are different in story-wise, structurally a different way, like, they both all have, like, a chronological endings, like, you know, this ending happens first, the happening happens last, but, since that Birth Me Code has universal resets, and HASC Code has all take place in one universe, with, you know, the red herring mystique that it's actually a multi-world interpretation. But because it seems like there's a gravity machine, and this game also mentions about the gravity machine maybe being the essential invention for time travel, there's gonna be time travel in Project Deforge. And there's small details, like Moon mentioned before, that the escape range, which hopefully have puzzles. I swear to God, I love them. Like, honestly, I love the ones that birth me code as well. Those are great. The escape rooms, quote unquote, because the doors are not actually going to be locked, which I guess again it's going to be into something or another, has like multiple angles to see from, so it's not going to be like a static one screen as is for this game, and probably like how it is for like you can only see 2 rooms at a time for like, you know, how it was in Birth Me Code. That's gonna be interesting to see if we're gonna work out the ironings for that for him. He's going to anyway. What was it? So if there's time travel in that game, possibly it could also work on the whole thing about screw chronological order then or not. But since now it's becoming a literal thing, which like the endings are being chronological order in a way, I definitely need to make sure of keep track of that when Project Deforge comes out, or whatever its name is going to be, and I'm going to be there every step of the way. So whether that game is going to be like a real truth, like spiritual successor in a manner speaking to how these games are structured, whether it just be like one universe timeline chronological wise, or universe reset chronological wise, or literally delving full on to the red herring of this game about the multi-world theory, is going to be left to our own imagination until it can perceive its own existence with our own 2 eyes. Or more if you're an alien or something that's watching the future. But who knows? I can't see you right now. I can't see anything. I don't have eyes. So we'll leave off here. And if more teasers come along, maybe I'll make more theories and all that, or maybe like when I go through these 2 games again in my own time, I'll find more small details and bring that up in passing. Small thing. Which, in any way, it's going to be fun to go through until Project Deforge comes out and this whole series comes to a conclusion. And, oh boy, and before we leave it off, I'm going to leave this little small tidbit here for right here. I think I have an idea of what embed me means, as Birth Me Code's Lexicon puts it. It's an acronym. We have no idea what it means as yet, and literally, I can't theorize that for the life of me either, but it's also biochromatic, meridian, as it is a Marco shirt as well. And, legitimately speaking, chromatic is for colors, bi is a 2, and meridian is a divider, essentially. And, since the 2 games take place in Canada, the 3rd game's probably going to take place in Canada or some, like, similar thing to that. So, it doesn't make sense to be think about meridian as a global sense. So, divider in a different sense, could that be, like, 2 separate games? 2 separate games that have their own unique color schemes, one which is green, another which is cyan blue. Who knows? And that whole thing about how both these games can be played in any other order, will it come to play in Project Deforge? Who will know? We will see. Guess we just have to go and wait and experience it for ourselves when the time comes. So, for fun time watching this, I am playing this. See you next time, whatever time it may be, for whenever the game comes out, or whatever more information I find as it comes through. And I'll hope you have a fantastic day.